back, everyone, for another USA League Show episode. We're up to episode 11, and we have another special guest with us. This episode 11, we bring on Chris Hehn from Manasota Youth Soccer League. He's the president over there. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Awesome. Great to have you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here with us. Just to start, so everyone can learn a little bit about you and know who you are. Um, how'd you get introduced to Minnesota Youth Soccer League, and what do you do for them as a president?
Uh, as most parents, I got introduced to youth soccer through my son. We were wandering around looking for a place for him to play after he was playing at the YMCA when he was 5, and they said, honestly, you need to take him to an actual club and have him play with coaches that can help him be better. And we were at Palmetto Little League at that point, and we looked over the fence and we saw this club over there. We saw all these kids playing. They all seemed happy. There was a lot of laughs, and the coaches seemed happy. So we said, all right, we're gonna take him over there. So we stayed in our neighborhood and we went to our neighborhood club. And at that time, it was like 13 years ago now. And
Oh,
at that
wow.
time, Mickey Cedillo was still our president, and he was coaching the U6 team that Christopher joined, that my son joined. And he just welcomed us in with big open arms and stuck to the basics and worked on technique, and the rest is history. Like, it was just an amazing experience.
Look at that. So you went from Little League baseball, you looked over and you saw a soccer club, soccer team, and you explored it, and here we are, 13 years
Here we
later.
are. Yeah, and actually, I was at the time I was a little league coach, and I was a little league coach all the way till he was 13 years old, and slowly picked up soccer coaching on the fly, and became a soccer coach at Manasota, and somehow wound up as the president.
There you
So,
go. But obviously, I've heard great things. Kai Vilmer, our executive director, obviously, I know he reached out to you to get you on our podcast. And I was looking into the club and doing a little bit of research and exploring what makes Minnesota Youth Soccer League so great. And one of the biggest things that I saw within the club and the entity, your coaches are all volunteer. Correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah, actually, our whole organization is all volunteer. We operate mainly like a civic association. Like, if you really needed to put your brain around our structure, we're a civic association that operates as a not-for-profit, exclusively to keep the fees as low as possible for the families that register with us.
Wow. No, that's awesome. And I think you know this as well, being in the youth soccer realm for as long as you have been. Not every club's that way, right? There's this.
Yeah, no. And it's funny because we have this conversation all the time, about what would it take for us to go to free to play. There's a few clubs that I admire that are free to play, like Open Goal, and down in like the Hialeah area. There's a team down there
Okay.
that's free to play. They have a foundation that's keeping them afloat, and we would love to be like that eventually.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the kids that we serve, the families that we serve, their money could be better spent on their households. It could be better spent on education. It could be better spent on food and housing and clothing. And the game should be accessible and available to everyone, regardless of where their money needs to be spent in their life.
Wow. No, that's awesome. And we've done this is our 11th podcast, and I can't say I've heard that yet. So it's definitely it's a different perspective. A lot of people obviously have viewed the youth soccer game, and us obviously, being a league. We've interacted with a lot of different clubs, and it's definitely eye opening to see the different contrasts in the clubs that how they work. Um,
Yeah.
that kind of brings me, and you sort of answered it with how you guys are serving these kids and the families, even parents to an extent, right? What is the
Yeah.
mission of Minnesota Youth Soccer?
I'm going to distill it because it's pretty long. But to summarize it, it's to ensure that any kid who wants to play, regardless of their family circumstance, their finances, and their skill, they will have a place to play. and we will help them play at the highest level that is attainable for us and for them.
That's
And
awesome.
so that's all the way up to the N1 league this year. It was the first division of National League under Sunshine Conference last year. So it,
Awesome. So you guys are still you obviously in the state of Florida. You said National League as well. Is that
yeah, we were in the Sunshine Conference. We went through promotion relegation
awesome?
from USA all the way up through FSPL, and then kind of got caught up in the restructure.
Yeah.
USA has always been our go-to league. We've always spent the majority of our competitive teams start in USA. They start in Division 3 when they come right out of rec, and they play their way up to first division if they can, and win it if they can. And then once they've accomplished that, we let them move on, as it should be.
As it should be, 100%. The promotion relegation. Hopefully, one day we'll see it here, like a
Yeah, we hope.
true format, right?
It'd
But
be nice.
it would be very nice. Um, that kind of brings me to my other point. It kind of rolls into it. 13 years in the club, promotion relegation, all the memories that you've made as a coach, president. What are some of your favorite memories within the club as a president and maybe even as a coach?
As a president, it's been working with the people on our board. I mean, our board is not just an advisory board; it's a functional board. So have 9 amazing people that serve with me. So my vice president, Florinda Emery, daughter of Mickey Cedillo, um, she's amazing. She does all the things that I fail at really well, like soft communication and maintaining relationships and all those good things. Um, Chris Emery, he's our field manager. He's amazing. Takes care of our facilities. Built a great relationship with our parks managers, which I have to say, if you're running a club, is extremely important. It's more important than you can possibly imagine to take care of your park manager, and work with your county very closely on maintaining your fields, because they don't get a lot of support. And when you treat them well, they treat you well. It's a good relationship. So he was amazing for doing that. Esther Garcia was one of our founders. That's what the 3 stars on our logo are for, is those 3 founders. And she's been with us since day one, 28 years. She was there with Mickey. That's her brother, which is amazing. She does our registration. I think everybody at USA at this point has probably met Esther at some point, or at least knows her name, because she's in.
Exactly.
Yeah. And beyond that, we picked up a new fundraising director. His name's Zachary Nash. He's awesome. Our director of development, Frank Enriquez, is amazing. And it's just been such an incredible moment in my life to work with all of them and to watch them just grow a community. It's been incredible. It gives you a lot of hope, actually, to watch people grow
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially like you said, they're not doing it for the money because there is no money coming in. There's no salary. They're not. There is no
Yeah.
stipend.
Yeah.
And I think that it's amazing. It's not for everyone because a lot of people are driven by money. That's like a motivating factor for them. So I
Yeah.
think you guys are a very rare and unique breed in the world we live in today. And you guys should be recognized for that, right? Like it's you guys are impacting people's lives that if you guys were charging, I don't know, $2,000 for a season, maybe you wouldn't be able to impact them because they wouldn't be around.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome.
We were. It's interesting. Lately, we've been recognized a little bit more than in the past. Like our county actually declared a day for Manasota Youth Soccer Day for the year, which was nice. So we got recognized in a public meeting, and you guys have taken notice, and I've gotten some emails from other organizations that are noticing that we're embedding ourselves in the community. We were able to pick up a grant because we're embedding ourselves in the community. So this year we got a grant for scholarships, which is going to significantly help us from the Curran Foundation. We proposed to them. We're tooled as volunteers that love soccer, that want kids to play soccer. But what we're not tooled as is like um, a community support agency, right? We don't deal with poverty directly. So we found partners that do deal with poverty directly, and then we give them a fund that they can dip into to refer kids to us, or kids that are escaping domestic violence, have some kind of circumstance where their lives are in turmoil and soccer's just not in the cards. So that's been a really big help for us. So I want to thank the Curran Foundation for helping us there, because that initial pilot grant is going to give us up to 25 kids this year, and then probably another 15 next year until I find more funding.
Exactly. Just keep growing.
They're going to play, and it's going to be because our community partners are able to identify them and then refer them to our programs.
Yeah. Let me ask you this because I've been a part as a coach, administrator, college coach, worked for FIFA and worked at the lowest levels as well, running youth summer camps with the little ones.
Yeah.
And how do you as a president, as a leader of your organization, how do you manage to and I find it very amazing in how you can find people that want to be part of this organization for no money, right? Like
Oh,
you're finding how is
yeah.
that interaction? How does that build? Is it just through relationships, or how are you finding
Yeah,
these
it's
people?
relationship building.
Yeah.
There's several different layers of this. Obviously, like most rec programs, you're voluntold when you bring your child to our club. Um, we try to support you with education, and we actually reimburse licensure. So if they want to stay with us and coach, we'll reimburse their licensure as they go through. Um, and then we also help their kids through the Futures Referee program, start the referee career in our rec program. Um, you just build those friendships over time,
Yeah.
and you help them gain confidence and help them want to take a team competitive, and then support them when they want to go competitive. And they'll stay until at least the kid that they're following graduates.
That's
But
fair.
in most cases, like we have coaches right now, and this is to Mickey's credit. Like we have coaches right now who are, um, they are his players. Like they grew up playing for him on those first couple teams,
Wow.
and now they're back and they have those relationships and they have families, and they're back with us and they're coaching, and
That's
that's the
amazing.
amazing thing about community. Now, that's not to say that anyone at our club believes that people shouldn't be compensated for their labor. Um, if we had the funding to pay coaches, we probably would. But where we find ourselves at odds with that, one says in order to get that funding,
Hmm.
and in some cases, that's not possible. Like you can hear, I have players that are coaching at other clubs throughout the state for fee. Um, and they're relaying to me, it's so hard to talk to a parent who didn't realize what they were getting into financially, because the club is happy to sign the contract and then cover all the things that they promised through that contract, which is a fee. But I don't think the parents realize exactly how much those fees will stack. And so then it falls
Yeah.
on the coach, which is a terrible experience from what I've been hearing. It's a terrible experience for the coach who gets all these calls from these parents. They're like, I'm tapped out. Like I can't buy the uniform, or I can't pay the coach's travel fee or whatever it is. And so I end up having to counsel these coaches who I've put out in the world and be like, yeah, they signed the contract. You help them find a scholarship. Like it's so harsh. The world that we've created around soccer right now is very harsh on
Yeah.
families, on their budgets, on their time. So
Yeah.
we're trying not to do that.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It seems like you've built it was 1998. Is that right? That you guys were
Yes.
founded?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I
right.
went I
Right
did
on the
read a
bottom
lot
of the
about you.
logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so but in what is that now? 20
It's 28. We're
oh,
in our 20th year.
28 years and you guys have a culture. I know it's a buzzword. I know that everyone says, "Oh, we have a good culture." You just told me that there's players that started as a player at the club and now they're back. And
Yeah,
I think it
yeah,
it happens, but you're telling me, like, they're so indulged and integrated within the club, like, that's a true culture and family, and it's hard to find that.
yeah. And then you just reminded me, I forgot to thank someone. My referee assigner is also on our board, and her name is Anna. And Anna has been absolutely amazing. She started our futures referee program. She was a player in some of our first years as well. So she's another one that is giving back to the club and coached with us and understands the community that we're trying to build. And you know, it hasn't always been perfect either. Like don't imagine that it was 28 flawless years
Yeah.
of community. It takes effort, and you have to get a critical mass of people that feel like something's worth doing.
Mm,
And then that becomes infectious. And it's not like every week we put out an announcement and we get 100 volunteers. Like, you still have to cultivate those relationships. You still have to ask volunteers. You still have to tell people you need help. It's not something that just perpetuates. You have to put enough in that people feel like they get something and then they want to give back.
mm,
And there's been, you know, I can imagine there's plenty of people who have gone through the program, and I talk about this sometimes on our board. There's plenty of people, I'm sure, that have gone through the program and they didn't feel like they got enough out of it, so they haven't come back. You know, or something's going on in their life and they don't have the capacity to come back and give. I know plenty of my
yeah.
players from just 2 years ago. They're still out there making their way in the world. They're still working on jobs and education, and they're not ready. But hopefully, when I'm not president anymore, uh, or not a coach, they'll come back and they'll take over.
Yeah, I like that piece of reflection as to, you know, what our current players, past players, alumni, you know, where are they in their lives, but then at what point do you see them come back to the club and why? Like you said, it's because they were invested, and they felt as, you know, the or the team, the coach has made an impact in their lives, and they come back. I think that's awesome. Um, in regards to you as a president running this club, running the organization collectively with your staff, um, sponsors and other people or other businesses that want to promote or want to be a sponsor with you, what's the best way for them to go about it?
Get started on our website. We have contact information on our website. If you go there, I believe there's a section that says help, which is help us. You know, so I'm just gonna check that real quick because
Perfect. Yeah,
yeah,
no problem. That's find the
let me
help.
go there
Everyone that's watching,
real quick.
find the
So
help.
yes, it is after right after home. You can click help, and will take to like our primary campaign. We have a campaign on the help item, and then we have a couple of other campaigns: a bridge building sponsors wall, and then we also have a coaches equipment storage project that we've been trying to do for over a year now. We really need to expand storage space for our equipment. We want to buy a Connex, and that's just not something that
Yeah.
you go out and buy in $100,000 a year budget. So
Yeah.
like that's what we operate. 450 kids registered for soccer every year on 115 to $125,000.
That is
So
incredible. I don't think people
that's less
really
than
realize like
$1,000.
I don't think like obviously we understand this when we work in the youth soccer realm and clubs, and for 450 kids to operate on that sort of budget is incredible.
Yeah, I mean for us the budget is not a challenge in providing the core service. Now, if we wanted to expand service, it becomes a challenge. If we want to take on more scholarships, it becomes a challenge because you have to remember as you grow your scholarships, the burden of the scholarships falls on the families that you still have, or it falls on your sponsors. And in our case, it falls on our families more than it falls on sponsors. Like we've tried to maintain sponsors over the years, do banners, that kind of stuff. Um, we have our banners figured out for like you can sponsor like two kids on a banner sponsorship, and then hopefully reuse the banner and get three kids the next year on one banner.
Mm,
Um, Jerseys have a cost associated with them, obviously, to print. We've had issues where people changed what they wanted on the jersey halfway through after we already printed them, and then that becomes no scholarships. And so we're trying to find the right balance of how do we fund more scholarships, but without putting that burden on the people that are already paying their way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the financial question is very challenging, because you have all these things like, yeah, people deserve to be compensated for their time unless they're being truly altruistic, in which case all of our coaches are, and it's much appreciated. But like, to give them a decent stipend would require doubling our budget.
Yeah.
Right? We have 50. I think last year we registered 54 coaches. So 54 coaches volunteered 5,500 hours of volunteer service.
Wow. Just to operate the club.
Just operate the club. And
Wow.
that's time they could have given to their families. They could have given it to their employers. They could have converted that into revenue for themselves. And they decided to bring it to us. And so I feel very grateful. Very grateful.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I have Manasota Youth Soccer League. Obviously, everyone can watch on our podcast. We'll post things on our social media and Instagram as well. Where can they find Manasota Youth Soccer League? On Instagram, or is there YouTube, Facebook?
Yeah, we have social media in and out. We're most active on Facebook. Our vice president Lindsay, she manages that for us. So if you want to know when a registration is, if you want to come to opening day and try our amazing street tacos, that'll be posted on Facebook. And I'm serious, they are phenomenal. You have to come try them. But we also have like a TikTok account that gets some love here and there, depending on if we have time or if we have a volunteer. I believe that one's Manasota Elite. Tongue in cheek, we thought it was great when everybody was calling themselves elite, so we just made everything elite. That was fun. So everything's elite now.
Nice.
And then on our webpage, obviously, it's a little bit slower to update, but we have information up there. And I'm trying to think. I think we have an Instagram account, because I had a volunteer from Florida Gulf Coast University, former player of ours, was at Florida Gulf Coast, and he was doing a marketing degree. And so he was posting all our scores for us on Instagram for a while. I don't remember the name of that Instagram account, though, if I'm honest. But it'll get updated here and there with scores from the leagues.
Awesome. You do have an Instagram account. I'm looking at it right now. Manasota Youth Soccer, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is. So that, again, like, that was a volunteer project. We've had a phenomenal opportunity to work with them through their student learning program. Because we had students that left our program and went to Florida Gulf Coast, we found out that they have a student learning requirement where they have to do volunteer service hours. I think it's 80 hours in order to get their undergraduate degrees. So we signed up, became a partner with them, and we had a undergraduate student do a research project with our social media account, give us a whole bunch of ideas on how to modify them. We had Ethan doing our social media for us. It's hit or miss. We get volunteers sometimes, and it's nice. It's nice to have young people volunteering and coming up with ideas that we wouldn't come up with otherwise.
There you go. And you connecting with Florida Gulf Coast. Obviously, they're a large university, and you have students that are with high energy. They want to make an impact, and that's very cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for taking your time to be on this podcast and share everything about Manasota Youth Soccer, your experience, and everything that you guys stand for. I really, really appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys being a partner to us, but also a member of our league.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.